This is Steve Priske. Well, this is one of the fun parts about building these ship models, is that when you get to the part of completing certain sections of the model. Right now I'm completing or finishing up the deck of the Flying Cloud. This is really sort of cool because the foredeck, the anchor deck, has come out exactly as I had desired. Not only with caulking the planks in between the deck planks with real rope caulking, but then I'm also putting in real pins, little tiny pins, where I'm trying to recreate the little pins that would hold the decks in place. And as you can see, it came out really good. The truth is, you don't want things to show too much, so if it doesn't show until you look really close, then you've achieved your objective. I'm going to put this on macro here in a second and show you the close-up of it, but I wanted to show you the procedure on how I'm putting the pins in. For example, here's the raised quarter deck, and I don't know if you can see this, but there's the little wire tips from the thousands of, or hundreds of pins, deck pins, that have been installed. Again, I'll put this on close-up in a second. So what I'm doing down here right now on the main deck is I'm tapping the holes for putting in more of these pins. Now in the close-up mode here, hopefully you can see some of the way that I've tapped the deck planks. First I draw where I want to make the little holes drilled so I don't make any mistakes. So I'm using a pencil first, marking them, then drilling the little holes. Then what I do is I'll take this super fine copper wire. This is actually a little bit better than using nails that you're going to snip the heads off. Use a little copper wire, and I'm running that copper wire down inside the holes that I've reamed out that represent the two different pins at each end of the deck planks, like that. And then I snip that off and glue it in place. I'll do about 8 or 9 or 10 of them before I take the time to glue them in place. And leave the little tips sticking out. So here's what the quarter deck looks like. It's now complete. Well, it's ready anyway for all of these. So once all of that's done, here's the finished anchor deck. And you can see that only when you turn on a certain angle, you'll actually be able to make out those little tips. You can also see how using the rope caulking really makes for an authentic looking deck. It doesn't look like it's a plastic molded thing, and it doesn't look super perfect like everyone is exactly alike, which a real ship was not. You can feel the undulations when you run your fingers across this, which you may not get that kind of a result if you don't use the rope caulking. Came out pretty good. So now I'm going to finish the main deck and install these on the ship. One of the suggestions that one of the things I suggest is to drill on a piece of cardboard, so that when you drill through the wooden plank, the drill bit has somewhere to go to. Now, this was sort of interesting. The drill bits that I'm using are actually made by NASA, but they are commercially available. You can find these in specialty hardware stores and electronics stores. These are super, super sharp and really fine bit tips. Problem is they tend to break off pretty easily, so you got to have quite a few of them around. But these are about a 0.03 diameter, and that's exactly what I need. Now, of course, I can use these by hand to ream out these holes, but right now I'm using my Dremel tool, my rotary tool, to tap in where I'm going to put the wire brads that are going to represent the nails that hold down the deck. Okay, I'm going to stop this and put it on close-up. So here we can see the close-up of the main deck where I've tapped a lot of the holes for creating the pins, representing the pins that hold these deck planks in place. Now here's what the raised quarter deck looks like. All of those pins in place, the little tips of wire sticking up. Now I snip all of those off and then sand it. And I use a combination wood-metal sandpaper because these are little pieces of wire sticking up. And then when it's complete, as we can see with the anchor deck here, you'll barely make out those little nails that are in there, but that's what it looks like when it's authentic. This came out really good. So I'll be putting some trimming around the anchor deck and the main and raised quarter deck and then installing them in the ship.